Hello everybody, carlq here. I wanted to take an opportunity today to chat to you about another productivity hack. This time is one that most of you are probably familiar with. Most of you probably have one, but maybe you're not using it to its full potential. I'm talking about your CRM. Your CRM, or your customer relationship management tool, is kind of the heart of your business. For a lot of industries, and I won't say every single industry, but for a lot of industries, the CRM is the tool which captures all of your customer information. But the question is, are we actually using it for productivity, or are we just using it to dump and store information about our clients? That's what I want to talk to you about today. So for me, in my business, I've probably gone through several different CRM tools at one time or another. I started using CRMs back when I very first started work at the age of 17, and I used ACT. ACT was an offline CRM, so it was actually sort of pre-cloud. Back in the days when you used to sort of enter information individually. The company I worked for had a server, but it wasn't real time. So I would update information, but if my colleagues wanted to see that information, we had to wait for it to update overnight before it was available the next day to actually look at. So going back to a very, very simple system, but ACT was very good. It was my first sort of real taste of a CRM tool. And we had some customized fields in there, so we would sort of capture, the client's name, business name, address, phone number, email address, all the basic stuff. And then there was a good section at the bottom for notes. The notes was really important because we used to sort of deal, when I was actually selling mailing lists, we used to deal with these clients on a regular basis. So we had to understand what the previous conversation was that we'd had with them, what areas it was that they were targeting, when they wanted to hear from us again, and things like that. So the CRM allowed us to capture all of that information. And we could also do things like set a diary note to do follow-ups. So this was back in the day before CRMs really exploded and become a lot more technical in what they were able to do and the integrations that they offered. So ACT was the first system that I also put into Agent Mail when we very first started. When I was running on a shoestring budget, we designed a website with a $10 tool that I got from the post office, and we had an old copy of ACT. I think it was version 4 or something like that. So a super old version of ACT, but it still did the job. We were able to sort of make changes to certain fields so we could capture certain information. Moving forward to the way CRMs are run now, there is a huge range of CRMs, and there are so many different options available to you based on what you need to do for your business as well. So depending on whether you are a B2B business or a B2C business, there's still so many opportunities to do great things with CRMs. Some of my favorite tools that I use in my CRM, one obviously is the note taking, but it's also the segmentation. So if you're able to work out from your client base who is a prospect, who is a suspect, and who is a buyer right now, who's a pipeline buyer and things like that, you can segment your database to suit those different categories. Once you've got that segmentation in place, whatever it might be, so even in property, for example, you might have segmentations of buyers and sellers, but you can go deeper and say, okay, are these single buyers, or are these husband and wife? Do these guys have kids? Are they looking for units? Are they looking for townhouses? Are they looking for rural properties? If you can segment your database down this way, you can do a lot more targeted marketing, which is actually relevant to the people that are receiving it. So I see a lot of people sending out emails from their CRM, but it's very generic. It doesn't have any personalization. It's not tailored to the person that's actually receiving it. So if you're able to sort of fully utilize your CRM, segmentation is one of the really great tools that you should look at how you can do. Different CRMs do this in different ways. So one of the ways is to use what we call tagging. So certain CRMs have a way to tag records. So for example, you can add a tag to say single and add a tag to say units. So when you want to then actually sort of do a marketing campaign or something like that that's targeted to single people that are looking for a unit, you can call up those tags and it will bring up all of the people that have those tags matching it. So that's a really cool way of segmenting your database. Another tool that I really like to use in CRMs is the ability to use calendar scheduling. So a lot of the time we think about calendar scheduling as a one-way thing, right? So people phone us up and say, I want to come see you. You bring up your calendar and you book it in. I spoke previously before about some of the tools like Calendly, which allow you to sort of share your diary without the person sort of seeing everything that you've got going on. So they just see the time zones that you've got available. With some CRMs, you have the ability to actually share your calendar like that, but it's linked in through your CRM as well. So when somebody books in, it actually goes against their record that they've booked into that appointment as well. So some cool tools like that. Other integrations such as email automation. So some of the CRMs will allow you to do certain automated flows. So for example, if someone comes into your CRM for the first time, let's say you met them in an open home, for example, you enter their details in, you can have a series of emails that goes out to that person based on when they come into your CRM. So you might have triggers that say, send a first email, thank you for coming to the open home on day 1. Then at day 7, you might have an automation to say, send this particular email. Then again at day 14. So a lot of the automation that comes from using a CRM can be built into the back end of that as well. Different CRMs have templates which allow you to do this as well. So some of them already have these processes set up. Others you can do it yourself. You can also within these automations have triggers. So for example, if somebody clicks on a certain link, you can then have a trigger which says if they click on this link, perform this action. And that action might be then setting a reminder or a task for you to give that person a call. So you can use all of these automation tools and these tracking capabilities to work out what your database is doing within your CRM as well. The other things I like within CRMs is the ability nowadays to have integrated telephony as well. So a lot of the CRMs allow you to integrate with certain platforms that allow you to send SMS messaging or even make phone calls from within the CRM. So again, this is a really great way to enhance your productivity. If let's say you wanted to do a calling campaign for all of the people that you hadn't spoken to in the last 6 months, you can go into your CRM, you can categorize by last contact date, for example, and it will show you all the people that you haven't spoke to in a while. Once you've got that information, if you've got the telephony integration done correctly, you can click on their phone number within the CRM. It will dial them up if you've got the headset and everything connected. Then you can start making the phone call and having that conversation. It allows you to work from within that one screen without having to sort of go to a handset or a piece of paper that you've printed out on a list and work from there. So it's, again, from an efficiency point of view, you can get a lot more done when you're working in one system than when you're trying to manage multiple different systems as well. There's so many other things that CRMs can do. So automation is really a big one. So if you are considering new CRMs, have a look at what automations are available to you. So does it allow you to do automated emails? Does it allow you to do automated text messaging? Because all of these things is what's going to improve your productivity and give you more time to spend face to face with these people and your customers, which obviously is the key. The other thing you want to have a look at with CRMs is it available on mobile? So many of us these days are not sat behind a desk in an office, 8 to 10 hours a day. We are out on the road, we're out visiting people. We want to be able to keep the information up to date as we go. If you take a phone call when you're in the car, you want to be able to have that phone call, have that conversation, jump into your CRM, enter the notes when you parked up safely, of course, enter the notes into your CRM and have it done at that point. You don't want to have to try and wait till you're back in the office to go into your CRM and then update the information. You want to be able to make it happen right there and right then. The other beauty of that is that if you can have your notes on your phone as you're going, such as your tasks and reminders, again, if you're stuck in a car or let's say someone's running late to a meeting, if you've got your notes and everything that you've got to do for the day in your CRM, which is on your phone, you can get on and actually start working your way through your task list rather than having to sort of wait till you come back to the office. So we're seeing a lot more and more CRMs now having mobile friendly versions, even doing things like where when somebody calls in, it brings up their information on the phone within their CRM as well. So some really cool tools coming through like that. Also, if you sort of want to look at CRMs that have social media integrations, so some of the platforms now are actually working where when you type in the person's name, it will actually go and search for that person, based on their name and email address through LinkedIn, through Facebook, through Twitter, through those different platforms, and then provide that information back into your CRM as well. So if you can get it to do that, it just means that you can kind of be across the platforms that that individual is working on. So, you might have an assumption that all of your clients are on Facebook, but once you sort of have them in your CRM and your CRM goes searching for where they spend most of their time, you might actually find that, no, they spend more time on LinkedIn. So it's really quite a powerful tool if your CRM is able to get that information for you. There's other integrations that work with CRMs as well. a massive list. Billing is another one. So if you run Xero, for example, for your accounts and billing, that information can all come through to the CRM too. So let's say, for example, your accounts department sends out an invoice and it's still outstanding. When your salesperson or yourself are on a phone call with them, in the CRM record, you might be able to see, for example, that there's still an invoice outstanding. So you can just gently remind them that that invoice is still outstanding. It's just a way for your company to work cohesively and provide all of the information that your client might need and you as a company might need on your client to look at one time. Yeah, Josh, thanks for jumping in, mate. Yeah, absolutely. The data doesn't lie when it's set up right. So I always say, junk in, junk out. If you put useless information into a CRM, you're only ever going to get useless information out. I hear a lot of people bragging about, oh, I've got 20,000 contacts on my CRM. I've got this great big database. The problem is, and I think Tom Panos, one of the real estate trainers, sums it up really well. You want a fit, not a fat database. And what that means is you want a database that has frequent and regular contact. You want people that actually know you. Having 20,000 contacts in your database might be completely useless if 90% of those actually completely ignore what it is you're sending out. It affects your response rates. It affects, the time and effort that you put into it, and it just bloats out your entire business. So, if you ever wanted to sell your business or something like that, people are going to come in and look at your CRM and just go, this is just a shambles. So if you can make sure that the information that you put in there is clean, it's up to date, and it's regularly updated, you're going to be able to use your CRM a lot better with the features that they come with. So, I would recommend having a look around if you don't currently use a CRM, and I know that there is people out there listening that are working off an Excel spreadsheet or something like that, and that is absolutely fine. If you have a method, for keeping in touch with people, and that's through either, an Excel spreadsheet, an Access database, whatever it might be, there are tools and ways of working that, but there are many other tools that you might not have explored yet that are definitely worth looking at. If you can imagine being able to have integrated phone calls, SMS, email automation, diary and calendar management, all in the one place, how much easier and more efficient is that going to be for your business if you can actually control all of that in the one place? I've rambled on a bit about CRMs today, but honestly, please go out and have a look at some of the tools that are out there. They don't have to cost a fortune, and they will make you a ton more money if you have them executed right. Have a great weekend, guys. Chat again soon.